This is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Good morning, good afternoon, and possibly good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video. Today I will be flying the Saturn V, one of the most, well, not even arguably, iconic rockets ever to exist. Of course, this rocket took us to the moon. Now, we are starting off here with the first stage, S1C, I believe it was called, with those 5 iconic F1 Rocketdyne engines at the bottom there, which will propel us into the upper atmosphere before we can move on to stage 2, but we're getting ahead of ourselves there. So last video I flew the Soviet. Oh, here we go. We've moved on to the, well, I'm not sure if this is the S2 or S1I because Roman numerals. But, so yeah, moved on to the second stage, which has 5 J2 engines. I believe they were also created by Rocketdyne. Yep, also created by Rocketdyne. Now we're just propelling ourselves out of the atmosphere here. Now, last video, I created the Soviet version, the N1. However, unlike the M1, the Saturn V had several successful launches. Here we go. We're just moving on to the S4B stage here with that 1 J2 engine. Of course, the Skipper engine is used here as an analog. And the F1 had the K1, I believe, was the analog there. So yeah, we're just getting into a, well, quote-unquote low Kerbal orbit. It's around 100,000 meters or 100 kilometers, which is what it would have been in real life, however size differences. Now we're just getting our translunar injection here, again using that S4B stage, which is what we would have done in real life. Now I could have circularized with that S4B stage, because size differences between real life and Kerbal Space Program. However, that's not what they did in real life, so I did not do that. So we're just, this takes a while. This, the thrust to weight ratio of this stage is not the best. However, it works, and it's very efficient. So we're just moving ourselves into a translunar injection here, just a small burn. Now this spacecraft is almost completely stock. However, those RCS thrusters on the Apollo service module rather, are modded. However, they could easily be replaced with just normal RCS thrusters. I just chose those because they look more akin to that of the real Apollo spacecraft. Now, we've just gotten ourselves onto a, we're just opening that up to see the lunar lander there. Not too difficult to recreate in Kerbal Space Program thanks to the Breaking Ground DLC. Now we can also see that big Wolfhound engine there. I believe that was a modification of the J2 engines, however I'm not 100% sure. So we're just going forward and we're going to turn around and dock with the lunar lander, much like they did in real life. Now I did want to say something about the translunar injection we have. We have something called a free return trajectory. Basically, if something goes wrong, and we can't land on the moon, if we don't do anything, we will come back into Earth's atmosphere, or in this case, Kerbin's, which is what every Apollo mission did, and it is what saved Apollo 13, although due to the explosion, they were a little bit off course, and that's why they had to burn on the other side of the moon. And we're just a little bit of a bounce, but we're going back in, and we have docked. So now we're going to decouple and pull that lander out. Oh, bit of a lag because it's safe. So we're going to decouple and pull ourselves out, and we will deploy those landing legs because they deployed them rather quickly. And in fact, if the landing legs weren't deployed, not only would they not be able to tell if they were all working from the windows of the Apollo command module, they would also just not undock. It was a failsafe. I'm just reorganizing my staging here so the maneuver node works better, and we're going to do a small inclination adjustment, mid-course correction, sorry. There we go, we're just turning on the fuel cells there. The Apollo spacecraft, all of it actually ran on fuel cells, which I'm more of a fan of solar panels. I just think they look cooler, but I am warming up to fuel cells a little bit. So we're just getting our little trajectory here, and here I did something called the barbecue roll. Now this is what we did in real life because it's very hot and very cold. So the side of the spacecraft, very hot and very cold in space, the side of the spacecraft facing the sun would be incredibly hot, and vice versa be very cold, if not facing. So they did a slow roll. Now because I don't have persistent rotation, that didn't persist through our entire thing, sadly. That's why I had that little thing there. Alright, we're just lowering our orbit here. This is a very quick video, it's only like 12 minutes. I really sped this up because it can be rather boring. So here we go, and we're just transferring the crew here. Unlike the N1, they had a crew tunnel, so we're going to put 2 astronauts on the ground there. Alright, we're just slowly turning away. Going to reactivate our RCS thrusters because I turned them off before because they were not used until now. Alright. We see that one, I believe, another possibly modification of the J2. Although I may be wrong, actually I believe that's wrong. There are a lot. The J2 was rather well known at this point, so they used a lot of J2s. And I believe all the engines were created by Rocketdyne, although the Kerbal Space program from that is Kerbaldyne. Alright, so we've got a impact trajectory with the Mun here, so we're going to just cruise down to the surface. Very nice, very lovely. Alright, and we shall begin our slowing down here, although this has been sped up by about 4 times, just to save you some time. This was quite a bit of time here that I spent. So we're going to deploy that ladder there. I believe we probably should have deployed that a little bit sooner, but we're going to land. You can see that little antenna there. While I did have to use one of the deployable ones in Kerbal Space Program, the real antenna just was kind of there, which, you know, it worked rather well. Alright, we're slowing down now, getting ready for our touchdown. This was not nearly as smooth as the touchdown I did with the L3 lander, but we have a little bit of a... We go up a little bit, but it's fine, and we shut down. And we have touchdown on the lunar surface. And, well, got a bunch of boys breathing blue. Breathing blue. Bunch of boys turning blue, we're breathing again. That's one of my favorite quotes from the Apollo 11 mission. Now we're just taking a look around. Unfortunately, we did not have a Kerbin rise. Very sad, I know, but we just kind of didn't land on the right side of the Mun. Very unfortunately. So we've just got Jebediah out here, and we're going to plant a flag. Very nice. There we go. A little KSP NASA logo there. Of course, in real life, it was an American flag. Alright, Apollo landing. Very good, very nice. Now, I was going to put him back in the command module here, but I thought it might be good to have them both out and have a little bit of a photo shoot. Because, well, need someone to put on their Instagrams, you know? Ignore the fact it would be 1969 in real life. Alright, we just got, I think that's Bob. Hold on. No, sorry, it's Bill. I can't tell. I have a very small window. It's the scientist, which I believe is Bob. I'm actually not sure. We're just getting the EVA experiments pack here to simulate something that was done on either Apollo 12 or Apollo 16, which is playing golf on the moon, which is well, that's a nice little homage that the devs added to that mission. And if we were in a science mode, we would get science from that, but we are not. So we're going to hop back in the Lunar Command Module, the LEM, if you will. Sorry, Lunar. That's right. It was called the LEM, LEM, for Lunar Excursion Module, shortened to LM, but everyone still called it the LEM. So yeah, LM for Lunar Module. All right, we've hopped back in. Now we're just going to, yeah, this I was trying to, well, you'll see why, because that upper stage has absolutely no SAS, it only has RCS, so we were just getting a little encounter, so I was just trying to make sure that it was pointed upright for this. Give it a minute. This. Very nice indeed. Now, in real life, it probably would have just been propelled up by the actual forces of the coupler, but we couldn't do that in Kerbal Space Program, so I used the separation motors. Now we are just zooming into a low moon orbit to meet with the Apollo spacecraft, where Bill Kerman is waiting for us, although in real life it would have been Michael Collins, and it would have been Eugene Buzz Aldrin, I believe his name was Eugene Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong meeting up with Michael Collins. There we go. Just getting into orbit here, trying to get a good trajectory to come close. It was rather difficult, I didn't choose the best time. I mean, as you can see, we only have RCS, which is very annoying. I despise RCS. Like, I don't mind RCS, but when it's just RCS, especially if you're doing fine movements. Yeah, regardless, we're slowing down and we should see the spacecraft. There we go. Alright, now, I have sped most of this up, again, you know, just to keep things quick, simple, short. I've spent a fair bit less time on this than I did the N1. A fair bit less time, yeah. Just because it was a simpler spacecraft. Alright, here we go. It wasn't simple by any means, but in comparison, it didn't start with 30 engines. Alright, and we are going to dock right there. Very lovely. Lovely jubbly. Alright, so we're now just transferring the crew over. Very good. For some reason, the EVA experiment pack kind of disappeared. Not sure where that went. Just transferring some life support stuff from my life support mod. Now, in real life, they would have left the lunar module in orbit and it would eventually decay, but it doesn't do that in Kerbal. But I left both of the lunar modules, both the N1 one and the Apollo one, just in, well, in orbit, even though they won't decay, even though in real life they certainly would. Now, here in a second, I'm actually just going to adjust my orbit so we definitely get a splashdown, because that is what would have happened in real life. The Apollo spacecraft, the Apollo command module, was only designed for a splashdown, not a hard landing. I'm just checking my little action groups there. Alright, and now we're going to deploy that, and we are going to re-enter the atmosphere. Very nice, very lovely, here we go. A bit of plasma. I didn't come in this fast in reality. I do have this sped up, and there we are deploying a drogue chute, which will slow us down to 2,500 meters. And there we go. So we can deploy our main chute at around 1,000 meters, and there we go. We will slowly descend into the ocean, and there we go. And Apollo 11 was a success. And well, soon after this, well, they'd have teams to come save them. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all in the next video. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye bye.